In the last video, we observed Monaco from a distance. Elegant, untouchable, controlled. Tonight, we move closer. Not to admire luxury, but to decode how power operates without ever speaking. In Monaco, supercars are not trophies, they're tools, and the most powerful women here know exactly how to use them. Picture this: a billionaire woman arrives. No rush, no announcement, no explanation. She doesn't introduce herself. She doesn't need to, because the car already has. If you understand this language of power, comment yes. And if you're ready to step closer to a world most people are never meant to access, stay with me. In Monaco, the first message is never spoken. It's parked. Before a word is said, before a name is exchanged, the signal is delivered. Not about money, about position. Here, no one asks who you are. They watch how you arrive. The model pauses the room, the color sets the boundary, even the way the door opens finishes the sentence. This isn't chance, it's design. For these women, a supercar functions as a silent introduction. Precise, restrained, impossible to misread. No handshakes, no small talk, no validation required. The message has already been sent, and those who understand it adjust instantly, without being instructed. To outsiders, it looks effortless, almost casual. But inside Monaco's elite circles, nothing here is accidental. Every detail is calculated to establish distance, to command respect, to create authority without noise. And yet, this is only the surface, because once the car speaks, a quieter question begins to form. What exactly is being said? And more importantly, who is meant to hear it? In Monaco, choosing the wrong supercar speaks louder than choosing the right one. For billionaire women, power isn't proven by owning the most expensive car. It's revealed by selecting the one that fits the moment, the place, and the audience. A Lamborghini can dominate one scene and feel completely out of place in another. A Rolls-Royce may project authority at sunset, but signal restraint in daylight. Every choice is deliberate. Every mistake is noticed. That's why these women don't chase trends. Trends demand attention. Authority avoids it. Instead, they choose vehicles that match their position, cars that balance dominance with restraint. Insiders recognize this instantly. Outsiders almost never do. What looks effortless is calculated. What feels natural is strategic. The car becomes a form of social calibration. It changes how people approach, how they observe. When they step back, conversations shift. Access narrows or opens. Expectations reset without a single word spoken. And here's what most people never consider. Sometimes the strongest signal isn't the car that's chosen, but the car that's deliberately left behind. So why would someone with unlimited access choose restraint over spectacle? And once that choice is made, what does it quietly begin to control next? In Monaco, color is never decoration, it's declaration. For billionaire women, a supercar's shade speaks long before the engine ever does. Gold isn't chosen to impress, it's chosen to be recognized by those who already belong. White doesn't suggest innocence, it signals precision, control. Black isn't about mystery, it creates distance. Every color is intentional, measured, and deeply understood inside elite circles. To the untrained eye, it looks like personal taste. But in reality, color is a code, a way to announce presence without disruption. Choose the wrong shade, and you invite the wrong attention. Choose the right one, and boundaries appear quietly. And once those boundaries are set, behavior changes instantly. That's why Monaco's most powerful women rarely experiment in public. They don't test reactions, they already know the result. Their cars blend seamlessly into the environment they control, never competing for attention, only confirming position. And here's where it becomes more interesting. Because while most people think color is chosen to be seen, sometimes it's chosen to make certain people disappear. So who exactly fades away when the right color arrives? And why does that matter more than being noticed at all? True power begins long before the engine ever turns on. For Monaco's billionaire women, a supercar isn't just a way to move, it's a mechanism for controlling space. The moment the door closes, the outside world adjusts. Distances are set, access is defined, time bends quietly in their favor. They arrive when they choose, they leave when they decide, and they never wait to be directed. This level of control changes everything. There's no hesitation, no dependence, no need to negotiate presence. The car creates a private sphere inside a public space, allowing them to observe without being approached, to move without interruption. Others instinctively step back, sensing a boundary they can't see but know not to cross. To observers, it looks like confidence. To insiders, it's something else entirely. Autonomy. The supercar removes uncertainty. It ensures every interaction happens on their terms, not on someone else's schedule. And yet, the most fascinating part isn't the control itself. It's how seamlessly this power operates, so quietly that most people never realize it's happening at all. Which raises a deeper question. If control is established without effort, who is actually being managed? And how early does that process begin? Not everyone is meant to get close. And in Monaco, supercars decide that instantly. For billionaire women, a supercar quietly determines who belongs nearby and who doesn't. It shapes proximity before a conversation can even begin. Some people slow their steps, others stop entirely. A few are allowed closer, not because they asked, but because the signal allowed it. This isn't arrogance, it's efficiency. The car draws a visible line without confrontation. There's no rejection, no explanation, no awkward exchange. Access is granted or removed long before words are needed. Those who understand this system adjust naturally. Those who don't remain on the outside, often without knowing why. That's what makes it powerful. No rules are announced, no barriers are built, yet the hierarchy holds perfectly. The supercar becomes a moving boundary, protecting privacy while reinforcing status in plain sight. And here's the most effective part. No one feels excluded by force. They exclude themselves, which leads to a revealing question. If access is filtered this early, and this quietly, what happens when someone is intentionally allowed closer? And what does that permission really mean? In Monaco, change is noticed faster than excess. For billionaire women, keeping the same supercar over time is never about habit. It's strategy. Consistency sends a clear message. Nothing needs to be proven. Nothing needs to be reintroduced. The car becomes familiar, and in elite circles, familiarity means permanence. When something remains unchanged, it reflects confidence in position. Frequent changes invite questions. Stability closes them. By staying consistent, these women allow their presence to merge with the environment. The supercar becomes part of the landscape, quietly reinforcing status without explanation. People recognize it instantly. Expectations are already set before it arrives. Authority doesn't need refreshing. This long-term approach creates something stronger than attention: predictability. And predictability builds trust, boundaries, and respect at the same time. It signals that this position isn't temporary, it isn't reactive. But beneath this calm exterior lies a deliberate choice. Because when a billionaire woman finally changes her car, it's never accidental. And it always means something is about to shift. In Monaco, the strongest signal is never repeated. Once the car is chosen, the color set, and the pattern established, billionaire women add nothing more. They don't reinforce their presence. They don't remind anyone who they are. Silence does that work for them. At this level, repetition weakens authority. Power is strongest when it feels permanent. When it no longer needs movement to be noticed, the supercar stays. Behavior remains consistent, and the environment adjusts around it. People remember, without being reminded. Boundaries hold, without being defended. This is where luxury turns into dominance, not by demanding attention but by becoming expected, normalized, untouchable. The supercar stops signaling and becomes a fixed point in Monaco's elite rhythm. And once something reaches that stage, it stops asking to be seen, which creates the final tension. If silence can speak this loudly, what happens when it's deliberately broken? Because in Monaco, change is never random. In Monaco, luxury is never just about what you own. It's about what you communicate, without saying a word. Through supercars, billionaire women signal authority, distance, and permanence, quietly shaping the world around them. What looks effortless is carefully designed. What feels calm is tightly controlled. And what seems ordinary to outsiders carries meaning only a few ever recognize. This isn't a story about cars. It's a story about power expressed through restraint and silence. So ask yourself this: if real authority never asks for attention, how would you recognize it when it passes right in front of you? If this perspective resonated, leave a comment and subscribe to Kingstory. Thank you for watching.